Oh, so for the most part, I mean, shortly after Chaos signed you up, did you immediately from there start battling at spots like Elements?
No, I would just go in cypher and just
Oh, okay.
freestyle.
All right.
But it was, the aggression was always there. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. I mean, it was ciphering, but it was ciphering, baiting niggas to kind of do something because I had a chip on my shoulder at that point, and I really, really wanted to prove to people that I was not the person that got booed on that stage, because word of mouth, like people think the internet changed the world. Like, of course it did, but it didn't change the human behavior. People still spread the word about shit that they saw, and shit still went viral. It was just word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, word got around that Triune got cooked, and I couldn't let that live. So, at that point, I had to go out and prove a point, and I did for several years after.
Got it.
Yeah.
No shit. Okay, so speaking of Elements, you kind of want to talk about your experiences there, and kind of for those of you that don't know, Elements is pretty much anyone who's watched 8 Mile or knows M's story knows about the hip hop shop, which was a real place that was over in Detroit.
Right.
Elements was pretty much the real life Los Angeles version of that. It was run by DJ Bonds, and it ran from 1997 until like 04?
Yeah,
03, 04, right around the time that I met you.
Yeah, 04, 05, somewhere around there.
So in LA, there was 2 spots that people used to battle at. One of them was Project Blowed, which was every Thursday night, which originally was the Good Life Cafe, which eventually ended up turning into Unity, and then after Unity, it switched to Project Blowed.
Yep.
Project Blowed is the longest running
open mic on
open
the West,
mic,
right?
no, in the world.
No, it can't.
I'm almost certain of it.
Well,
I don't think there's not an open mic that's run longer. It's been running since December of '94.
Oh, okay.
Every week.
All right.
So the 2 spots where people really got off, one was Project Blowed and the other was Elements. And even though they were both in LA,
too.
well, yeah, and Foundations was in the IE, but for people in Los Angeles, you pretty much were a member of 1 or 2 clubs, or
sure.
If you were like otherwise, you were dominating at both spots.
Yeah, I was introduced to Elements before I was even legally able to walk in there. I used to hop the fence or get let in the back gate at the GABA. And I started actually battling there when I turned 18 because Bonds and Damon wouldn't let me sign up because they didn't want to bring attention to the fact that I was underage in the club.
Got it.
And also Poseidon, too. I have to give Poseidon his roses in this interview. I know that him and I haven't always had the most solid of relationships, but I can keep it 100 and say that Poseidon was the first person that brought me to Elements.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I met Poseidon at Foundation. I was underage. I think I was like 16 or 17. And that was before they had it in Pomona. That was when they had Foundation at Claremont College. It was like some little underground thing that they had. It's like this hall, but it was like you had to go underground. And I met him there, and he was always like, yo, I got to find a way to kind of get you into Elements. Let me figure that out. And when I do, you can ride with me. And then we got in his, I remember he had a Nissan Pathfinder that was super fire at the time. And we rode out. And they let me in the back gate, and I kind of had to chill there until people started coming in. Like shit, they had a couple arcade games in the back, like a Miss Pac-Man and a fucking like Street Fighter game or some shit like that in the back. And I would just go back there and just play the game until people start coming in and I could kind of blend in the crowd. Yeah, and then they would never let me sign up because they was like, you're underage. You shouldn't even be in here. If somebody finds out that you're in here, you know, we could get fined and all this other shit. So when I finally graduated high school, I went in there and battled. And my first battle foray in there wasn't good either. I battled some kid. They kind of pit me against another kid, but he was younger than me at the time. What the fuck was he even doing in there? What the fuck was I doing in there? But anyways, yeah, he was part of, he was like a younger cousin or brother of someone of this group in there called Dirty Unit.
I remember Dirty Unit.
Yeah,
they were on the Swaying King Tech This or That compilation album. The same one that had M's Get You Mad and Underground Tactics with Helter Skelter.
Yeah, shout out to Contagious. Shout out to Iceman. Shout out to Left Brain. Still my niggas. But shit got kind of thick in there because when we was battling, I guess I got aggressive with the kid and kind of like bumped him a couple times, and they was talking about jumping me, and at the time I was like super hot-headed and was like, what's cracking? Like, you know, you remember me back then, bro. I was on 10. So that kind of boiled over, and I think I gotta give Poseidon more roses because I think he's the one that kind of smoothed that situation out. Don't quote me, it's either him or maybe Damon from Element. They kind of smoothed it out. We talked it out and everything was cool, but you know, it was a process. Battling was fun. It was a process, but I got to a point to where I got like really, really fucking good at it. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so at some point you ended up meeting DJ Jah Bluez. I mean, he's the guy pretty much from what's been explained to me as to how I know you pretty much at all. I mean,
Yeah. So that was through battle rap. So maybe about 6 months later, after the thing at Elements happened, where I kind of had a bad performance because I bumped that kid and just wasn't. It was really hard to beat a kid back then. If you say anything, the crowd's going crazy, you're gonna lose. I was at the Basement, and when they shout out The Rock, and his partner, I forget his partner's name. But they had a record store in the Valley called The Basement. And they used to have battles there. And based on the nature of who my significant other was at the time, because she was connected to the shop because I think her brother-in-law was a part owner of it with Rock. So they invited me out. I signed up for the battle list, for the battle shit. And the winner of the battle got a little bit of money, like maybe $50. And you also got some free hours. And Jah Bluez put up the hours for his new studio. He had opened up a studio in Chatsworth. And he was trying to promote his studio. So he showed up and was like, yeah, I'll give away I think it was 4 hours free time to whoever wins the battle. So I went and I won the battle. And that's how we met.
Got a clique full of shooters. They won't let me